In this video, I'm going to show you how you can discover who has accessed your Google Doc, Slides, or Sheets. But before I do me a favor. If you like this video, it helps you in any way, hit the like button. If you have a question about the conversation, comment and ask me any question. I promise you I will answer the question for you. And furthermore, if you like this series, The Ultimate Guide to Google Drive Sharing, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you'll be alerted when I create more content in this series. All right, so let's talk about this. How do you know when someone has accessed your Google Sheet, your Google Slide, or your Google Doc? So let's go to a Google Sheet. Here's one up top here, data set from Bob's Excel. Now, first of all, no one can access this information unless you have first shared it with people. So if you go to share here, you'll see I've shared it with Teddy Burris at Gmail, and I've also shared it with anyone the link can be a viewer. I'm gonna change that to make them an editor. A little risky, but for the sake of this experiment, I'm gonna make anyone the link can edit this document. I'm gonna copy the link just so I have it, and I'm gonna hit done. Now let's go look and see when someone accesses it, what happens. Let me go to Teddy Burris at Gmail because I've given him permission. I'm gonna hit refresh. And there it is, data set from Bob's Excel sheet. Now when I open it up, first of all, it reminds me I'm logged into someone else's content as Teddy Burris at Gmail. I hit OK. And I can see that this Burris Consulting is in there. And interesting enough, because we're both logged into our Google accounts, I can see their email address and whatever other information they make public here. So I'm logged in as Teddy Burris at Gmail. Let's go back to the owner. What does the owner see? The owner sees that this guy named Teddy Burris at Teddy Burris, his email address, Teddy Burris at Gmail, is accessing this Google Sheet right now. Now, by the way, that is exactly the same thing that happens in Slides and happens in documents. The number one way is if you're in the document, sheet, or slide at the same time someone else is in it, you will be able to see that they're in it. But what happens when someone who's anonymous comes in it? So let's go open it up as someone anonymous. Now I'm not logged into Gmail. I'm accessing it from the internet publicly without being logged in. Now I can see that somebody named Teddy Burris, can't see his details. I can see someone named BCI Google Testing. Can't see their details. But I can see, even though I don't own it, who else is in it. And I'm going to go back to the owner. As the owner, check it out. As the owner, Burris Consulting at Gmail, I can see I have an anonymous jackalope. That means someone who's not logged into Google. And I can see that Teddy Burris at Gmail is in the file. That's the number one way you can see whether they're logged in or not logged in when they're accessing your file. Now let's talk about the second way you may be able to discover if someone has accessed your Google Doc, Sheet, or Slide. And that is that they add a comment. So I'll go up here to the cell and I'll go to comment. I'll add a comment and I'm going to go, do we want to share this info? And I'm going to hit comment. Now, let's go back and see what the owner sees. The owner, Burris Consulting. Now, it's kind of hard to see, but because of the coloring here, but this cell right there has a comment. You see that little yellow triangle right there has a comment. And when I hover over it, it lets me see the actual comment. So I can see that Teddy Burris commented, do you want to see this? Now, by the way, he doesn't even need to be in it. If I go back to Teddy Burris, if I close it down, if I go back to Jackalope, I think it's this one here. Nope, it's the next one. And I come out as Jackalope. Go back to the owner. Again, nobody's in it right now, but Teddy Burris. I hover over it because he was logged in. I can see his details. Teddy Burris left a comment. That's the second way you know or could know that someone accessed your Google Sheet, Doc, or Slide. Let's talk about the third way you may know that someone accessed your Google Doc, Slide, or Sheet, and that is version history. If I go to version history and see version history, now if the individuals you shared it with had edit capabilities, then it may have sparked or triggered to create a version, and then you'll be able to see their name in the version history. Now that isn't always going to happen, but again, if they're editor and they made some change, you may be able to see them in version history. Again, docs, slides, or sheets. Now here's the fourth way. The fourth way is notifications. Now, I have not gotten this to work all the time, but under Tools, Notifications, Edit Notifications, you can say if any changes are made, send me an email. And so anytime someone changes this document, you will be able to see that they change it. Let's go back to Teddy Burris. Let's open up that spreadsheet. Let's put some new information. Let's see if I can make this continuous. There we go. I'm in as Teddy. I've made a change. I'm going to come out. I'm going to go back to the owner. And again, I have notifications enabled. So anytime someone changes, it sends me an email right away. Now, did I get an email? Let's go take a look. Yes, I did get an email. It says that Teddy Burris made changes on this day around that time. And if I open up that sheet, I can see the changes that were made to that sheet. This is only the, changes are highlighted. I'm not actually looking at the exact sheet. I can open up the full sheet. But I got a notification that Teddy Burris made changes to this sheet. So in summary, there are possibly 4 ways you can determine that someone has accessed your Google Doc, slide, or sheet. Number 1, if you are in the same document at the same time, you'll be able to see their icon up here. If they're anonymous, they'll see that. If they're logged into Google, you'll see their name and their Google information. Number 2, and that is they could have left a comment. If they left a comment because they had editing access, then you'll be able to see that comment. Number 3 is version history. If you go to version history, if they made any type of change to trigger a version, you'll see their name. That's all you'll see is their name. You won't see any other details. And number 4 is notifications. If you have notifications enabled, then you will be able to see that notification. And typically it's going to come as an email. One of the things I haven't discovered is in Google Docs, when I turn on notifications, it says I will get notified, but it doesn't tell me how I'll get notified. I think that is via email, but I have not been able to trigger these notifications for me to validate that that's the case. Visually, comments, notifications, and version histories. And again, the predominant way you will know someone has accessed your Google Doc, sheet, or slide is you will be in it at the same time they are in it. The other scenarios do not always happen, specifically if you're not given that person editing access. I'm Teddy, your Google Workspace and Gmail guy. I hope this is helpful for you.